All right, ladies and gentlemen, December 8th, we have 13 games to jump into tonight. Way different than yesterday's picks. Speaking of yesterday, not our best. We didn't force anything, which was good. I guess it could have been worse. It could have been better. Who knows? But we ended up going 0-2. The Nets, I'm sure a lot of you guys ended up winning that Nets one because I got a terrible line there. We kind of gambled on the line. There was a lot of questionable pieces on the Mavs side of things. I thought, hey, we can snag that 3.5 line. Maybe some of these Mav guys will get ruled out and that line will jump. Just the opposite. Those Mavs guys got ruled in. The line dropped to, I think, 1.5. We got them at 3.5. I gambled on the line and lost. Also gambled on the game and lost because they ended up winning by 3. So we lost by half a point. But I'm not kicking myself for it. The other loss was Evan Fournier over in threes, which, Evan Fournier was ghost town against the Spurs. So huge loss there. Not our best night. Luckily, it was only 2 games, meaning in the past 2 days, we're still hanging in there and doing all right. So again, we didn't force anything last night. I'm glad we didn't force anything, but it still sucks to go 0-2. But we're hoping to bounce back. I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but let's do it. December 8th. Little disclaimer here. As I record this, it's late night. It is still, at least with 5 minutes to go, still December 7th. Staying up watching the Celtics game right now against the Lakers, and we're going to go do the live stream immediately after this video. This is a tough one. When the Celtics, if you guys don't know, I'm a massive Celtics fan, and the Celtics are on the West Coast trip here. We're doing these videos, the post-game shows, late at night. I go live after every Celtics game, so if you're a Celtics fan, tune in, or if you're just an NBA fan and want to talk some basketball, tune in after Celtics games late at night. And then, normally we're getting up real early to record these videos. I figure, you know what? Let's at least get a couple hours of sleep here. We'll get this video baked in. So I'm recording it the night before. A little disclaimer there. So we have the opening lines, but definitely keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys. As you know, every day we go through each and every game. I give you where my head's at. I give you my lean, but my final plays, what I'm actually putting my money on, will be in the pinned comment. And it's especially important this video to check that out because we're recording this at midnight, whereas usually we have some more concrete lines to work off of and whatnot. But we are gonna be looking at and analyzing here the opening lines. But again, 13 games, we might as well get into it. I've bored you guys enough with the intro here. Let's jump right into it. First game we're looking at is the Cavs hosting the Bulls. Cleveland, 2.5-point favorites here. And, this Cleveland team, the Covering Cavaliers, as we call them on the channel, 19-5-1 against the spread. But this Bulls team is no joke. And I know they don't have DeMar DeRozan due to COVID. He looks like he's going to be out for several games. Alex Caruso also going to be out. Kobe White, questionable there. Javonte Green, questionable. I'm still going to be leaning Bulls here. We've taken the Bulls even without DeRozan now, and they have cash for us. I think that they are just a way better team, this Cleveland team. It's kind of crazy to say that this Cavs team is one of, if not the best team in the league, that you wouldn't expect, I guess we could say. The biggest surprise against the spread this season. But at some point, I feel like the better teams will prevail. This Cleveland team covers. The fact that we're getting points here with the Bulls, I do like that situation. So I'm going to lean Bulls plus 2.5, but keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys, to see if I've put that in officially here. Next up, we have the Pacers taking on the Knicks here. Knicks was one of the leans yesterday's video. I wish we pulled the trigger because, we were spot on with that, but we didn't pull the trigger on it. It was just a lean. We didn't get to cash in on it. But the Pacers, 4-point favorites here at home as the Knicks are on the back-to-back. As of right now, no injuries to be concerned with here. Really, I guess you could say TJ McConnell and Holiday on the Pacers side of things are injuries to note. But the Knicks getting points, I mean, they're on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't love this spot for them, but I do think that this Pacers team is wildly inconsistent. So I'm going to lean Knicks here getting the points. I don't think that is going to make the final ticket, if I'm being completely honest. But I think that the Knicks, hopefully this win over the Spurs gets them going, gets the juices flowing, then maybe, just maybe, they end up traveling to Indiana here and sort of get their feet under them and start playing some good basketball. I don't love this spot again, but I do think the Knicks are the better team, so I'm going to be leaning them with the points there. 4 points seems like a decent amount to give the better team. Next up, we have the Hornets taking on the 76ers. The Hornets still have a lot of injury concerns, or I should say COVID-19 concerns. Ish Smith, Plumlee, Rozier, McDaniels, and LaMelo Ball ball all out indefinitely with COVID-19. These teams just played. Actually, another injury to note here is Maxey on Philly is questionable, which is a huge deal there. These teams just played, I guess, a couple days ago here, and Philly beat Charlotte by 3 points. The line here is Charlotte getting 7 points at home. Philly on the road here, and as long as they haven't beat, I guess they're a good team. But I know it's crazy for me to continue to lean towards Charlotte here, so I'm gonna do the opposite. My gut is saying lean Charlotte. You've leaned them 2 times now since all of these COVID issues, and they've covered both times. At some point, the COVID and the injuries and everything like that's got to catch up to you, I feel like. So I'm gonna lean Philly -7 here. In this one, I don't love that number at all. I doubt it makes the final ticket, but that is definitely my lean. Next up, we have the Pistons hosting the Wizards. Pistons getting 5.5 points at home. This Wizards team has come back down to earth. Seriously, they have lost 4 out of their last 5 here, only beating Minnesota, but the Detroit Pistons have lost 9 in a row, 1-9 in their last 10. The fact that we can see a Washington team only having to win this game by 6, I'm going to have to lean there. I think that, this Detroit team is seriously just in absolute tank mode. They don't seem to be getting anything together. The only thing I want to keep my eye on in this game is going to be the injury report. Dinwiddie, Bertans, Bryant, all questionable there. Not like Bradley Beal's injured or anything that major, but Dinwiddie is a consistent scorer for that team. I guess you could say same thing with Bryant off the bench, or with Bertans off the bench, excuse me. So keep an eye on the injury report, but I definitely lean Washington -5.5. And that's more or less, I just told you Washington's come back down to earth, but that's more of me betting against this Pistons team right now than it is me betting on Washington. This Pistons team has just been struggling as of late, so I don't trust them with my money, so I guess I have to lean the other side. Next up, we have the Heat. 5.5 point dogs against the Bucks. The Heat at home here. This Milwaukee team is coming up clutch here. They're 9-1 in their last 10, and they're covering left and right as well. This Miami team's on a little bit of a slide. I guess we could say it's due to injury. Jimmy Butler is going to be out. It looks like Wednesday against Milwaukee here. Bam Adebayo going to be out about over a month. A lot of injuries to be concerned with on Miami, and I think we've seen that this is not the same Miami team without those guys. So I'm going to be leaning Milwaukee here. It's going to be a nationally televised game. Definitely pumped to watch that one. But Milwaukee -5.5. They're the hotter team right now and just the better team overall. So I'm going to be leaning Milwaukee there. Next up, we have the Raptors hosting the Thunder. Raptors 7-point favorites at home against the Thunder. You know what we like to call them, the rumbling, covering Thunder. 7 points here seems like it might be a tad low, though. If I was looking at an 8 to an 8.5 point spread, this might be one that I sprinkle a little something on, but I don't necessarily think that we see this play in our future here. Toronto's finally starting to look pretty good, beating Milwaukee and then crushing Washington. They're well rested. This OKC team they just got smoked by Memphis by 1,000,000 points and then had to come back and beat Detroit, who, arguably is just one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. So I don't see any momentum coming out of the Thunder here. They are 14-9 against the spread. I will give them that. But I lean Toronto here. It's a big number, so it doesn't make the ticket. I can almost guarantee you that right now, but it's not big enough for me to take the other side of it, which would be the Thunder. So I lean Toronto. Next, we have the Rockets, 6.5 point dogs at home against the Nets. The Nets played last night. They just missed out on covering for us, but I think, if you guys played that line closer to, like I said in the intro here, you guys probably covered because that line dropped to, I think, 1.5. You might have been able to get it at 2 to 1.5 there. And the Nets covered that again against the Mavs. Houston won 6 in a row. So, as crazy as this is going to sound, I'm not going to be taking the Brooklyn Nets to only have to win by 7 against the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are going to be the more rested team here as Brooklyn's on a back-to-back. So I would lean Rockets in this one, which is lunatic talk. And it's going to be just a lean, but that's the way that I'm leaning right now. Brooklyn just having to come back from down 17 against the Mavs, only to go and have to travel to Houston here to play the Rockets, even though it's not that far. But I would definitely lean Houston here. Again, not very confident lean. If this is a full lean, I'm just going, but it is what it is. So you can't seem to bet against the Rockets as of late. They've covered in 5 out of their last 6 games, which is just crazy to me. So this Rockets team, they're taking off to space, I guess. Somehow they are playing well. It's right after I said this team has just given up on basketball, they decided to start playing well. So whatever. But next up we have the Grizzlies, 5-point favorites at home against the Mavericks. Mavericks, like I just mentioned, just caught that L against the Nets. And it was a close one. They had a huge lead. Looks like they were going to win. They kind of gave up there. But I will say, even with the back-to-back, that's too many points to give the to give the Mavericks here in this situation. The Grizzlies have been playing really good basketball, even without Ja Morant. But for whatever reason, I see that this win streak kind of coming to an end. So I would lean Mavericks here. Keep an eye on the injury report. There's nothing to note right now. But Porzingis and Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr. were all questionable for the Nets game. So who knows if they're going to be playing on the second night of a back-to-back. Again, there's nothing that I see right now on the site that I use for injuries, but it's worth noting here that, second night of a back-to-back, those guys could be resting. But I lean Dallas. Don't love it, but I would lean it. Next, we have the Pelicans taking on the Nuggets. Pelicans +2 at home here. And this Pelicans team, they're playing a little bit better. I don't want to say that, they're playing well, but they're covered 2 out of their last 4, which is something that we weren't really seeing them do earlier on. And this Denver team seemingly, again, is in a little bit of a slide. Jokic is banged up, but he's probable. And that's kind of all I needed to see here. The fact that you can get Denver only 2-point dogs or only 2-point favorites, I'm going to lean Denver 100%. That's got a strong chance of making the ticket. Again, Jokic is probable, so I want to make sure he's playing before I put anything on it. I don't want to get burned by that injury because they're a much different team without him. So I would make sure to, I guess, that Jokic is playing, but I lean the Nuggets here -2. That's probably got a really good chance at making the ticket. All right, next we have the Timberwolves taking on the Jazz. Timberwolves 8.5-point dogs at home here. This Jazz team 12-11 against the spread. Minnesota 11-13 against the spread. I know I've been crowned a Minnesota Timberwolves hater, and I guess as of late they've started to play. They've started to come back down to earth. They went on that decent win streak, lost a game, won a couple more games, but now they've lost 3 in a row. Whereas Utah's kind of just picking up steam. They lost a few bad games. I don't know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Now they're finally kicking again. They have 4 wins in a row here, and 8 points is a lot. It's 8.5 points, actually. Is probably going to keep it off of my final ticket, but I'm going to lean the Jazz here. Again, I guess I have to own the fact that I've become somewhat of a Minnesota Timberwolves hater. Like, this is one of the first fair Timberwolves lines that I've seen in a long time. I was convinced that someone in the Timberwolves front office was working for Vegas based on some of these lines because they were getting favored when they shouldn't be, not as high of spreads when they should be. So call me what you want. I am going to keep looking down on this Timberwolves team until they prove me wrong. Next, Kings taking on the Magic. Kings 7-point favorites at home. The Magic, one of those teams we've talked about when they're competing for some of the worst teams in the league here. This Magic team, though, is positive against the spread on the road, and this against the spread home team here, the Kings, are negative. So 7 points seems like, it shouldn't be that much for the Kings, who are not much better, but are the better team. It doesn't seem like it's that much for them to cover. I do like the Magic here getting 7 points. I'll keep an eye on that line. I'd love to see it go even higher. But this Magic team seems like they play well on the road, and the Kings seem like they play poorly at home. So I'm going to lean the underdog here to the Magic. Warriors taking on the Trailblazers. Warriors 14-point favorites against the Trailblazers because, CJ McCollum, bad news about him. Obviously, Damian Lillard is out, but CJ McCollum, got downgraded out, and there's reports now he has a collapsed lung or something like that, and then a lot of other injuries to be concerned with here. Anthony Simons, questionable. Little, questionable. Zeller, questionable. Ben McLemore, questionable. Pretty much the entire Blazers team is questionable. That is a huge number, though, but I still lean the Warriors. You guys know I'm loyal to the Warriors. I wish we played them. What was it? They played the Magic, and they were, 12.5-point favorites. I said, oh, that's a little high. They go out there and smoke the Magic by like 30 points. So we got to lean the Warriors here. This Blazers team is so beaten and bruised. Maybe the Warriors just kick them while they're down. I hate to say it, but I lean the Warriors. I wish we weren't looking at a 14-point spread. It might be something that I interest myself in buying a couple points, but or at least 1.5 points, but, this Warriors team, one of the favorite teams on this channel so far this year in terms of covering and making us some cha-ching. So I will lean Warriors there. Make sure to keep an eye on the final ticket, guys, as I always say, for my final plays there. Next up, we have the Clippers hosting the Celtics here. No spread just yet for this one because, as I said, as I'm recording this, we got the Celtics still going on. But I would say this is probably a stay-away game from me. Anyways, you guys know where I stand with the Celtics. It's become, something that you guys hate on me or troll me in the comments for because I'm not giving up my fandom to have unbiased picks about the Celtics. But this Clippers team is wildly inconsistent this season. And obviously they do have the injury to Kawhi that's probably been plaguing them. But the Celtics team, seemingly like they're turning a corner. As I'm recording this, they're kind of starting to let it slip away against the Lakers, but either way, back-to-back West Coast trip for the Celtics makes me want to stay away from them, and I'm damn sure not betting against my team. So that's going to do it for my spread plays tonight, guys. That's going to wrap it up for the slate portion of this video, but let's get into the shout-out of the day, and this one's not even complete. I'm dropping the ball, but I got to fit these videos in when I can without having to, kill myself and not sleep. So Daniel comes in with hashtag fire, which was yesterday's hashtag of the day. He says Brooklyn minus 1.5, 1.5, under 222. That hits. New York minus 1 over 211. 211. That hits, and we're still TBD on this Boston plus 4 over 220. But either way, the way I'm looking at it, Daniel's already got a guaranteed positive night. He's got those first 4 plays. He's only waiting on the 2 pending. So Daniel gets a shout out of the day, guys. If you don't know what the shout out of the day is or the hashtag of the day, all you got to do is drop this hashtag, which today's is hashtag bank. Drop hashtag bank in the comments. Give me your locks of the night. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be a million. If you guys have a positive day, if you have a winning night, you got a chance to be featured and shouted out in tomorrow's video. So drop hashtag bank in the comments of these videos. Let me know what you guys are playing tonight. Spreads, totals against the or player props, anything, guys. Let me know what you're playing tonight. And if you guys have a positive night, you got a chance to be featured in tomorrow's video. And we do it at the end of the video for the real ones that stick through and watch all the picks. So shout out to you guys. I love doing this hashtag of the day. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Again, it feels weird me saying today and referencing yesterday when in reality, I guess now technically it is past 12 a.m. as I record this, so it is yesterday, but it was weird saying like the Nets beat the Mavs yesterday as I was recording it late night same day, but not that you guys care about that anyway, so glad this is at the end of the video so no one's gonna see it, but we will catch you guys in the next video. Let's bounce back from an 0-2 night last night and make some bank tonight. Hashtag bank in the comments. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.